this show is about the institutions in Ireland and the children that lost their lives, and obviously the thousands of people who went through a very shameful period in Irish history, in the mother and baby homes, the Magdalens, the industrial schools. And you yourself, you are an adult adoptee, and you were in Temple Hill.
I was in Temple Hill, Blackrock. I was adopted at 6 weeks old. I was very lucky.
Yeah. But your story is a very happy story because you had a gorgeous adoptive family.
I had a wonderful mother and father. I always knew I was adopted. I was always told I was special because Daddy picked me with my lovely black hair. Not that you'd know that by now. But I was always told I was special, and I always told I was adopted. And, you know, it never entered my head during my life because Daddy died when I was 6. Which was terrible for Mum because she had to work so hard, and she went out and got 3 or 4 jobs to support us. And she was amazing. She was so amazing, and she worked so hard to give me the life that she wanted to give me. But, you know, I think it was only when I was in my 30s and I became very ill and I needed my medical history. And when you're asked by a consultant, you know, have you got medical history? And you're saying, no, I have nothing. And they recommend, what would you like to contact? So I contacted St. Patrick's Guild and basically got nowhere. Had surgery, thank God. Everything was fine. And I continued on. But, you know, I was in my 30s. I was probably, you know, I'm pretty independent. And I said, well, why don't I know? Why don't I have my medical records? Why do I not know who I am? So I did a contact on numerous occasions over the years, St. Patrick's Guild.
And this is a very controversial adoption agency.
Yes.
So a lot of people would be familiar with St. Patrick's
Yes.
Guild. I mean, there's an audit going on at the moment now for illegal adoptions.
Yeah.
They were very well known for illegal adoptions. And as I said, there's an investigation going on at the moment. But people in general who've been adopted in Ireland cannot just automatically access their record.
No, you can't. Like it's still as stands today. Like the Philomena Bill will give you your birth cert, but it still won't give you your medical file, your file. Fast forward to 3 years ago when I did get my file from Tulsa, I had 120 pages, and out of 120 pages, I had about 22 pages of the stuff I had contributed to it. Everything else was blacked out.
Yeah, this is the big problem.
And it's like, you know, why do you have such a problem giving a file when 96% of it is blacked out? Yeah. But going back a wee bit, you know, I was told no. So as people who know me would know, I don't take no.
Dog with a bone.
Yeah, very independent, very stubborn, I suppose.
But it wasn't something that you wanted to do growing up. It was only when you hit the wall.
Yes, exactly.
For the medical files.
Yeah, I had no inclination at all. I lost my mother at 26, 27. I was lucky to have my husband and my daughter at that time. You know, now today I have a wonderful family. I have my son-in-law, my grandchildren, and my fantastic cousins and special person in
Your
Kerry.
new family.
I have a family, but then I contacted on and off, and then I got a letter back from St. Patrick's Guild saying, listen, we have contacted your biological mother, but she has sent a letter back saying she doesn't want to be contacted. She's not able for it, which I totally understand and respect.
But how did you feel when you got it?
I cried buckets. I was like, I hid it. I might be honest with you. I just got on with it. But then my daughter became ill about 12 years ago. And like that, very ill. And you're asked, you know, medical records. And it's not that it's going to achieve anything to the doctors there and then, but they do like to know. Like, thank God, she was dealt with very well and looked after very well. But it's a question that if you're adopted, it's just another one.
Yeah.
So that's when I really put the boot in, and I contacted St. Patrick's Guild quite a lot, getting nowhere, obviously. But then when around that time I went, I'm going to go for my birth cert. And there was nothing there. There was no Philomena Bill. There was nothing. So I went through hoops, and they put me through hoops.
But you're not entitled to your birth cert.
No, but I got it. But the only way I got it, the final and only way I got it was I went to St. Patrick's Guild and I had to sign a waiver to say that I wouldn't go tracing, and that if I did, there would be consequences, like, you know. And now I know, in hindsight, it's null and void. It's non-existent. So I was aware when I got my birth cert, I got it, and I was going, right, I now know who I am. But it still wasn't enough. So I was conscious that my birth mother was 37 having me, and the years have gone on. So I'd say she's dead now 5 years now this year, just gone. I was aware that her age, she was getting quite elderly. And I used to ring St. Patrick's Guild every January for a number of years, the last number of years, just to ask, could you just please let me know, was she dead or alive? You know, I wanted to know. And they said no, they couldn't find out, they couldn't do it, etc. Then the next thing I got a letter to say that all the files were going to Tulsa in Blanchardstown. So I went, oh, okay, I'm in a filing cabinet in Blanchardstown. A few months went by, I got a phone call to say, you know, my file is there, would you like me, would they like to look at it? And I said, do what you can. I said, nobody else has done anything. Within a number of weeks, I got a phone call from a lovely social worker from Tulsa, and she said to me, would you like to come up and have a meeting? I said, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll pop up, don't come on your own. And I said, okay, but you know, it's only up the road. No, don't come on your own. So my daughter came with me.
And did you have any idea?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh no, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I went to Tulsa and I went in, and my daughter was with me, and a lovely girl, and she said, what are you hoping for today? And I just said, anything. And she said, well, I can give you nearly everything. So the first thing she said is, now I have to tell you that your biological mother has died 18 months ago. And that was just like, it was like just the wind went out of my sails. Now, my daughter was brilliant. She looked after the meeting thereafter. And
she had died 18 months
prior to that. That's why I was able to get the information, because she had died.
And she's not covered by data protection.
Exactly. So fast forward, and a few weeks later, about a month later, I got another phone call from the nice social worker, and she said, would you like to come back up? We went back up, and she said, listen, we have found out your birth mother was in a nursing home and has passed away, but we have found a lovely lady that has been so good to her and kind to her and looked after her. And I, in the first instance, and this is new, I haven't even said this to them down there, but in my head I was thinking, oh, it's a lady the same age as my birth mother. But it wasn't. It was a lady a slightly bit younger than me, and she is amazing. She is just amazing. She sent up photographs of my birth mother. She filled in a lot of the gaps. And then
I told you about her personality.
Yes,
told you a bit about
it. So therefore I said, right, road trip. So myself and my daughter got into the car and we went down. And I can't describe it. I was a wreck. I was so nervous, and I get nervous, but I usually can handle it. But we went down, and what I can say to you is, I have never got a welcome in all my 61 years of life as the welcome I got down there. I have family down there now, and some are not blood related. One in particular, and she knows who it is. I have family, and I have learnt so much about my birth mother, that she was such a hard working woman, that she was actually like me, that she is a worker, she was very determined, she was very opinionated, and you didn't say no. So
Sounds familiar.
You know me too well, Alison.
I do.
You do. But no, I was only there in February, just the end of February before lockdown, down for 3 nights, and I come back with such a joy in my heart, because I suppose I'll be honest, there was a big part of me missing, and I faked it all. I faked everything. Oh, Breda can, there's not a bother in Breda. I faked a lot of it. But now I don't have to fake anything, because I now have peace. I know who I am. I know everything. My only sad thing is that I never got a chance to meet her. One of my cousins often says, when we have a little glass of Eno, he says, Breda, I would have put her into the car and brought her up.
Yeah.
And because there was nothing to fear. This is what I'm trying to say, and this is very important, and this is why I've done this tonight. I just want any woman that has given up a child for adoption, if it was 40 years ago, 50 years ago, or 60 years ago, just think about this. If you're contacted or you want to contact, don't be afraid. You've done nothing wrong. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. But what you would give that adult child is a peace in your heart that you can't put in writing or into words, Alison. It's a feeling. And that's why I've done it tonight for you, because you've helped. You're a great advocate for us. You always have our backs, and you're truthful about it. So I have never done this before. Probably never do it again. But I just wanted to make sure, and the most important message, if one person out there who has put a child up for adoption and is so afraid, you have done nothing wrong, because I can tell you, you know what I'd do if I'd met my biological mother? I'd say, sit down there now and we'll have a cup of tea. I'd make it easy for her. And you wouldn't be human if you didn't do that. It would be exceptional. It could be 99%, that 1% for different reasons.
Yeah.
But in my heart and hearts, I'm telling you, the people down where my biological mother is from has shown me so much love and affection, and even the community you have, it's just amazing. And I think for the rest of my life, I now can be, me.
And I think as well, not everybody is well received when they meet their family or make that approach.
That's what I'm saying. It's so difficult.
It's very difficult.
But I think, as years go by, I'm hoping that maybe, like when you think of, I was born in 1959. It wasn't her fault. It was not her. She did nothing wrong. It was society. It was the church.
Yeah.
It was everything against her. So therefore, the fear she went to her grave with, she never told anybody about me. So that was fear, and that fear is not acceptable. It's not acceptable in society today. So therefore, if there's anybody out there, just please stop and think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I suppose the thing about it is, your mom, she was very well loved in
And
Glyn.
respected.
And respected.
Yeah.
But you told me before we came on air that before she passed on, even on her deathbed, to her closest friends, she hadn't told.
She was afraid,
anybody.
Alison. Yeah. So that fear, we don't
Very
know that
sad.
fear. And please God, we never have to fear like that again. But that generation and generations around that time, right up into the 90s maybe, that fear was there.
It was.
And stigma.
Yeah.
And there should be no stigma.
How did you feel as an adult adoptee when Catherine Corliss brought out the names of all the children that died in Tuam? And that was the tip of the iceberg, because it's beginning to unfold in Sean Ross Abbey, in Bessborough, Castle Pollard, Dunboyne, all the mother and baby homes.
Yes.
But I mean, this was something that people sort of knew about, but not on this scale. How did you feel?
I couldn't believe what I was listening to. I found it horrific. And, there for the grace of God go I.
Yeah.
My biological mother, thank God, didn't have to go to a mother and baby home, but thousands did. And the result is all that was pushed under the carpet. It's carnage. It's absolute carnage. And look at what you did yesterday in releasing the story
Of the Sean Ross babies.
The Sean Ross babies. Like the gardener found bones. Like it's just incomprehensible. And there has to be answers, and there has to be, atonement.
Yeah.
There has to be atonement.
Yeah,
There
we
has to
need
be
proper
atonement.
healing. We do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the artists in the Stay With Me show
Yeah.
have tried to do. They've gone away in their own time. They have created these stunning pieces of art that are going to come up at the end of the show. And you've seen some of them earlier, but our new virtual show is coming up very soon, and it's absolutely beautiful, really worth waiting to see. And, I suppose for those artists, a lot of them, like I know all of them now, and they're very shy and very humble. They went away in their own private time, in their private space, and created these stunning pieces of work about the loss of children and what had happened in a very shameful period in Irish history. And I think, the fact that the Tuam baby story has opened up this scandal
It has.
all across the country.
And more is coming.
It's very
It's
painful.
coming.
It's very, very painful.
But the important point too is, Alison, as we are getting older, and the survivors of the mother and baby homes and the survivors of Tuam and everywhere else, as they are getting older, it will decrease. So therefore, it has to be addressed, and it has to have atonement.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And as I said, the virtual show is coming up very soon, so we'd really love you to stay tuned. We're streaming live on the Remembering the Tuam Babies Facebook page. We're also on YouTube, Stay With Me Art, and we'd love you to just click on the link. We're here. We want to hear from you. We'd love you to see this art. Art is there to be shared. We don't have a political message. We're not finger pointing. We are showing you incredibly beautiful art because we do feel that this work that these artists have put into their creations is very, very healing. It's very, very beautiful. And so stay tuned for our lovely virtual art show coming up soon. But I just wanted to say to you as well on that note, Breda, we spoke about the 796 babies in Tuam that died in appalling conditions. They're still lying in a mass grave in Tuam. They're lying in mass graves all around Ireland. The Tuam babies are lying in a sewage pit. The families of these children have fought tooth and nail to have these children reinterred into respectful, dignified burials. At the moment, it still happened. Nothing has happened. We're 6 years on since the story broke. Nothing has happened, and we have to keep talking about these things because we can't leave Irish children in those circumstances. It's not right.
No, it's not right.
It's absolutely not right. But the Sean Ross baby names, I did a piece in the Star on Monday about the Sean Ross babies, and we found out that 1,024 children are registered as having died in Sean Ross Abbey, which is, of course, the home made famous by Philomena Lee and the Oscar-nominated movie directed by Steve Coogan about Philomena and what happened to her son and what happened to her.
Yeah.
So we have the names of the Sean Ross Abbey babies, and we've seen how in previous shows beautiful graphics and artwork was made to show us the names of these children in Tuam. So we've done this tonight. Frankie King has kindly put together a beautiful graphic of the 1,024 babies who died in Sean Ross Abbey. It's really beautiful. Their names should be out there. They're a matter of public record. What happened to them is absolutely appalling. Nearly half of these children died from cardiac failure.
Malnutrition.
More than 100 died from marasmus, which is malnutrition. 2 babies died from sunstroke, and 1 child died from choking on their porridge. And that's just not acceptable.
No.
Because when children are taken into the care of the state is effectively saying that they're going to do a better job than your parents. And that did not happen to these children. And it's just appalling. So tonight we'd like you to take a look at this beautiful graphic with all the Sean Ross Abbey babies. Another 1,024 little angels that have been wronged in life. But let's see their names in lights now.